FNAF's max modes were originally regarded as some of the hardest challenges in gaming when the games were first released. But since that time, they've kinda lost that reputation. Over the course of the past few years, these once insane challenges have now been regulated to mere stepping stones for beginners when starting out in the FNAF max mode community. We've seen these beaten with insane percentages of power remaining, multiple of them beaten at once, or even on this channel, beaten all in a row in sequence without dying in the Fnaflocke. So today, I've once again found another way to make these max modes even more challenging. In the Fnaflocke, I took the traditional rules from a Pokemon Nuzlocke and applied them to these max modes, essentially creating a max mode gauntlet, where I had to go through each and every max mode from the first 6 FNAF games in sequence without dying a single time. And if I did happen to make a mistake, I'd have to go all the way back to the beginning. But since then, I've improved drastically as a player, and I think it's time that we up the stakes a bit. And maybe, this time, why not bring a friend to suffer with us? This is the Fnaflocke Soul Link. Similar to Nuzlockes, Soul Links also originated from the Pokemon franchise. In a Soul Link, 2 players play through the same game at the same time, and if one person happens to lose a Pokemon in battle, the other must also forfeit one of theirs. Meaning that not only are you permanently restricted to a hardcore mode of sorts on your Pokemon, but also all of your friends as well. So today, we decided to apply this same concept to Fnaflocke. My friend Brayden and I, who you should totally subscribe to, would have to start and play through every single FNAF max mode from the mainline Click Team FNAF games. 420 mode from FNAF 1, 1020 mode from FNAF 2, Nightmare mode with Aggressive on in FNAF 3, 420 mode in FNAF 4, 1020 mode in Sister Location, Saturday in FNAF 6, and just to make it that much harder, and as a brand new addition from the original Fnaflocke, 5020 mode from Ultimate Custom Night. If either of us happen to die at any point throughout any of the games, both of us are forced to restart back to the very beginning. But before we even started attempting this challenge, we first had to figure out the optimal order to play the games in. You see, unlike traditional gauntlet challenges like the FNAC gauntlet, where the player is forced to play the games in a certain order, usually in release order, part of the Fnaflocke experience is figuring out which order of games is best for you. Generally, we want the games that we're expected to die in the most earlier in the order. Playing all of these games in sequence and with your friends' in-game life on the line means that by the last few games in the order, you're going to be extremely nervous and fatigued. So we want the games that we're the absolute most confident in last. Both Brayden and I are extremely good skill-wise at the vanilla FNAF games, to the point where both of us are extremely overqualified for the basic Fnaflocke. What's going to kill us in this challenge is RNG. Yeah, right, I'm like, look
He ran instantly!
Even though both of us have trained our skill relentlessly, there is only so much you can do when the game just decides that you have to lose. And seeing as there's now 2 of us, any chances that we had before to get stupid RNG are now twice as bad. So we're going to have to prioritize games that have more randomness that can kill us earlier in the order, even if that means moving games that are mechanically harder much later. Out of the 7 games here, we can list them into 2 categories, skill-based and luck-based. We want to find the games that can give us unwinnable situations and put them first. Thankfully, we did an entire series on this channel where we figured out just that. Given the worst possible RNG or luck, which games are you able to complete? In those videos, we determined that FNAF 3, FNAF 6, and Ultimate Custom Night are completely impossible given the worst possible luck. And FNAF 1, 2, 4, and Sister Location are completely possible 100% of the time, no matter what kind of luck you get. So we'll move the skill-based games to the back half and the RNG-based games to the front. Now we have to determine the order within these groups, and this is where the order would be most likely to change throughout the course of attempts. Of the 3 RNG-based games, FNAF 6 is definitely the least luck-based. You have to be extremely patient to eliminate most of the RNG, but considering that this is already an endurance-based challenge, that's fine by me. Between UCN and FNAF 3, we chose to go with UCN for the first game, just because of how common it is to die at the very start of the night. In the skill-based section, Sister Locations 1020 is the most mechanically challenging, and knowing how my cursor can just teleport across the screen sometimes... Look at this, dude. It teleports. Why is it teleporting? Look, dude. More on that one later. We're definitely doing that fourth. Between FNAF 2 and FNAF 4, you may think that these would belong in the RNG section, but some strategies that we've come up with that we'll talk about later in this video allow us to both be very consistent with these games. Personally, between 2 and 4, I just wanted to get FNAF 2 out of the way first, then 4, then obviously FNAF 1 last. With the order set, we were ready to start on day 1. Now, I do want to say before we get into day 1 that if you're enjoying this video so far, it would mean the world to me if you subscribed, though of course only do so if you're enjoying the video. Along with this usual bit, I also want to announce something here. I've officially made a return to streaming here on YouTube and Twitch consistently. I've missed interacting with you guys like I used to when I was a smaller creator, so now every Friday from 4 PM to 6 PM EST, I'll always be live playing whatever. Super hard max modes, challenges for upcoming videos, or just something that I enjoy. Regardless, if you'd like to catch a stream, feel free to pop in anytime on Fridays. On my first stream, I played Hopeless Greed No Power Generator, and it was a blast to see all you guys there. Thank you again, sorry for the interruption, and let's move on to day 1. Starting off on day 1, signs for this challenge were actually looking pretty good. We were running UCN first into FNAF 6, then into FNAF 3. Now, knowing how bad FNAF 3 was in the original Fnaflocke, taking up nearly 81% of the total playtime, you may be a bit confused as to why we're playing it third in our order. The way that we have this laid out, FNAF 3 would be considered the least RNG of the first 3 games. Well, we decided to bend the rules a bit compared to the original Fnaflocke. In the original Fnaflocke, there was a strategy that was explicitly banned for FNAF 3 called the FGP strategy. This strategy works to reduce some of the unwinnable RNG that Springtrap can give you by stalling him in the office using camera flips. I've explained this strategy many times before on this channel, so here's a short summary. Basically, there aren't any natural ventilation errors in Night 6, unlike every other night. And because Springtrap can only progress through his attack stages when either the cameras are up, the maintenance panel is up, or when the screen fades to black when the ventilation goes out, we can keep Springtrap stalled right behind us once he gets in our office. However, even though we don't have any naturally occurring ventilation errors, we still have an idle timer that prevents us from just sitting in the office. If you don't pull up the maintenance panel or cameras for around 10 seconds, then wait another 20 seconds, the ventilation will go out regardless. As long as you have no more than 10 seconds between camera flips, the ventilation won't go out. However, you only have 1 cumulative second in the cameras before Springtrap has a chance to jump scare you, meaning you want to flip as fast as possible, as every flip you do adds however many frames you were in the cameras to Springtrap's counter.
Oh my god.
Bro, how'd you... We're just gonna 50%, it's not RNG. Fucking...
Dude!
Stop!
Stop!
Once you've spent 60 frames total in the cameras with him in the office behind you, he has a 50% chance to jump scare you. Though flipping with FGP is extremely precise, it's still a bit less luck-based than the normal strategy. Sure, you don't need to worry about Springtrap not listening to you, but there are still some other RNG factors that you have to worry about that we'll talk about later. In the original Fnaflocke, I banned this strategy because I thought it was cheese. But because of how absolutely insane a 2-player FNAF 3 no FGP deathlink is RNG-wise, Brayden and I decided to modify the base Fnaflocke formula for this challenge. In a trade for allowing the FGP strategy, we would add 50-20 to the Fnaflocke. As remember, in the OG Fnaflocke, UCN wasn't even part of it. I think this makes the challenge a lot more interesting on both ends, and trust me, we still spent a good deal of time on FNAF 3.
6. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good as well.
I survived 1 flip. I did not survive the 1 flip.
Bruh, are we for real? Oh my god, bro. Our first significant run on day 1 saw us immediately getting through 5020 and FNAF 6, with our first major death being a Springtrap death on my end. This was a very good sign though. This death could have been avoided, and since it had only really taken us half an hour to get to this point, maybe the RNG games weren't going to be that bad after all. I won't talk about the strategies for either of these two for too long. I just want to go over the parts that could result in us losing our run. In Ultimate Custom Night, the basic strategy involves death coining Funtime Foxy, then stalling out the rest of the night. The real problem and luck-based factor in UCN comes down to a few characters: Plushtrap, Foxy, Orville, and Ned Bear. You see, in order for us to stall out the majority of the night in UCN, we have to take care of two major threats. The reason that we're able to stall for so long is because we're always selected on camera 2, which stalls all 3 of the plushie characters from ever attacking us. If we were to click off of this camera, they would jump scare us. So we're going to have to get rid of any character that would force us to click off of camera 2. And the only characters that do that are Funtime Foxy and Plushtrap. Funtime Foxy is easy enough to take care of. We just farm up 10 coins at the beginning of the night, then use the death coin on him. Plushtrap is where a bit more luck comes into play. You see, Plushtrap isn't a base character that you can turn on and off from the menu. He is instead a character that is spawned by Zor, an alternate version of DD that appears in 5020 mode. Zor spawns more characters than just Plushtrap, but these guys don't really do anything to hinder us aside from being a mild annoyance. Plushtrap will always spawn 14 seconds after Zor appears, and you'll have to stare at him in Funtime Cove until he leaves. If you let him go for too long, he'll jump scare you. The only reason that this is an issue is because Zor is very random. He has a 1/2 chance to spawn every 10 plus 1 seconds. So you essentially have to keep anything that could kill you when you're looking in the cameras for an extended period of time at bay until you get rid of Plushtrap, which becomes problematic when Zor decides to spawn super late. This is where threats like Orville, Ned Bear, and Toy Freddy come in, as you're forced to constantly heater and stall Toy Freddy until you get rid of Plushtrap. In some cases, you may even have to buy a plushie. Thankfully, the chance of this happening is pretty low, but it's not impossible.
My Zor's being fat. 31 probably. Nope, 41. Same. Still nothing.
Yeah, same. What the f is this? Like,
Yes, it is. You have to.
hey, bro, I'm not even 51.
Dude, it's still not spawned.
Is yours also not What the? This is a world record. What the
No.
fuck? Dude, hold on. There's no way. Okay,
Dude, it's still not. What is happening?
What is it for you? What is it for you? No fucking way.
Still not.
Oh my god.
Thank you for depositing 5
Toy Freddy's dead, but like. I kept him alive. Oh.
Oh my god. Okay. So that was. We gotta run this back. That was a 111 for me and a 141 for you, no?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is that? So that's 2 to the power of 15. No way. That's crazy.
Bro, what?
Oh my god.
That's
that's
I think that's
insane.
the latest XOR I've had in general, and we just got it like. That's crazy.
Dude.
Aside from extremely rare flukes like that, Ultimate Custom Night is definitely the game that gives us the most opportunity to improve our odds by playing skillfully. And considering that both of us have crazy experience with UCN, whether it be a modded UCN in my case, or just doing crazy things in vanilla UCN in Brayden's case, we were getting runs past it pretty frequently. FNAF 6 on the other hand wasn't looking that good. Even though both Brayden and I have done some crazy things in FNAF, FNAF 6 is definitely the game that we were both the least practiced on. Mainly because FNAF 6's night sections are just honestly really boring. You can't tell me you'd ever willingly get on your computer and think, man, now's as good of a time as ever for some Saturday runs. The general issue for FNAF 6 came down to getting pincered. The strategy for FNAF 6 is one of the simplest of all the games, but that doesn't mean it's 100% consistent. The most important thing to know about FNAF 6 is how the flashlight works. We do have tools that we can use, but your flashlight and ears are far and away your best means of defense. There are 4 animatronics in FNAF 6, and they all behave pretty much identically, with random movements around the building that are skewed towards your office. Once they enter a room next to you or a vent next to you, you'll hear a sound cue depending on how close they are. This is your cue to whip around and shine your flashlight down that vent. No matter what, an animatronic cannot progress towards you if you're facing them. However, you can't flash both vents at once, so sometimes someone will sneak up behind you. From here, you're at the mercy of RNG, but you can mitigate it a bit. The fan, terminal, and any noises you make doing tasks will add noise to a noise meter. Depending on how much noise you're making, the likelihood of an animatronic hearing you and then jump scaring you increases. So the idea here is to make as little noise as possible whenever an animatronic gets in close. This has another hidden benefit. With both the fan and terminal off, the strength of your flashlight will increase. Normally, animatronics are sent back to this middle square here when cleared with the flashlight, but with nothing on, they are sent all the way back to this corner. This also increases the range of your flashlight, with you now gaining the ability to clear animatronics from both the adjacent vent and the room next to it. This flashlight mechanic will be the backbone for our strategy. We're going to stall out for as long as possible while making noise when doing tasks. Then, once a task is finished, turn everything off and clear any animatronics in the hallways by waiting 4 seconds on each vent, as animatronics are cleared on 4-second intervals. This will send them back pretty far, so we just have to hope they don't come back fast enough while we're still doing a task. The issue with this comes down to when you get caught mid-task and don't even hear anyone. Supply tasks and maintenance tasks are easy enough, but advertising tasks were what was often getting Brayden and I killed. These tasks take up the most time, but much more importantly, make a ton of noise when completing them. And I don't mean noise as in the in-game noise value, as they still add less than either the fan or the terminal. I mean noise in the sense of trying to hear any animatronics within the vents.
No, I didn't hear anything.
Some of the vent sounds the animatronics make are extremely quiet, and they can very easily sneak up on you while you're mid-advertising task. Even though FNAF 6 was bad, we were starting to wonder if putting FNAF 3 third was even really a good choice here. 6 seemed to be a minor roadblock, but FNAF 3 was a straight up wall. Even with the FGP strategy, there's still a good bit of RNG in FNAF 3. You see, in order for the FGP strategy to work, you not only need to flip fast and, if Springtrap enters too early, get reasonably lucky, but also you have to get rid of Phantom Freddy. Phantom Freddy works as another idle check in FNAF 3. When he appears and you're not in the monitor or maintenance panel for around 3 seconds, he'll jump scare you. Since we're stalling out Springtrap for roughly 10 seconds at a time, this would mess up our stalling a good deal. Thankfully, we are able to get rid of him. Once any Phantom animatronic jump scares you in FNAF 3, they won't show up for the rest of the night. So if we can bait Phantom Freddy into jump scaring us, we'll be able to stall out much longer. The only problem with this is that Phantom Freddy spawning is RNG, as on night 6, he has a 7 in 12 chance to do so on every hour change and a forced spawn at 4 AM. For this reason, sometimes we get too far into the night to be able to comfortably tank a Phantom Freddy jump scare, as getting jump scared by a Phantom causes Springtrap to be teleported forward. Point being, even with FGP, FNAF 3 was starting to be a literal nightmare. Regardless of where we put it in the order, we had been playing for an hour and 30 minutes and still hadn't gotten one single FNAF 3 win. It was so bad, in fact, that we were even considering putting it first in the order.
Ran instant.
See, bro? FGP doesn't even matter. Like, we do no FGP, same shit. Like,
Dude, since when was FGP this hard?
see, the IQ play here is to do FNAF 3 before UCN.
Honestly.
Alright, we're doing FNAF 3 first.
Oh my goodness.
So, FNAF 3 was first. In theory, with the most luck-based game out of the way, right away, we should be able to actually make something happen. So, let's see. I'm showing.
Never mind.
Go.
Look what that boy do to him.
That boy put the money in the bed in the
That boy
safe
put the
twin
money in the
and
bed
turned the
in the
light
safe
off for
twin.
the money.
And turn the light off for the money.
Are we for real? What the?
No, how'd you die?
I don't.
Wait, excuse me.
My favorite thing ever.
The FNAF 2 death in question.
Dude, if we die past, like, sister location.
Dude, I might. I'm fucking FNAF 2. I'm so -7 brain that I can't play it normally anymore.
As per classic Fnaflocke tradition, there is always some complete nonsense that happens in FNAF 2. But this time, man, you really can't make this one up. Okay, so what happened here? Well, to understand that, we first have to understand the strategy that I was using for FNAF 2. You see, in the original Fnaflocke, I was using a strategy made by Shooter25, which was reasonably consistent, but it was improved upon greatly by my partner in this challenge, Brayden. The core discovery that made the Brayden strategy possible has to do with Golden Freddy. You see, for all previous FNAF 2 strategies, the basic idea was this. You'd flash Foxy in the hallway right before you went into the cameras, then wind over a 5 or 10-second interval within the cameras, then drop the cameras, deal with the animatronic in the office, camp the right vent, and repeat. The problem with this strategy is that it didn't really account for Toy Bonnie's RNG when he camps the vent and doesn't leave. You'd see him pretty often, and a lot of the time you didn't have a completely full box when faced with him, so given bad enough RNG, you would lose. The Brayden strat aims to fix this problem, or at least make it a bit better. You see, with previous strategies, we could only wind for about 7 ticks of the music box, or roughly 3.5 seconds. If we were to wind any longer, we'd be forced to open the cameras earlier. And without getting too technical here, that would allow enough time for Foxy's kill timer to count up far enough for his kill equation to be true. Once this equation is true, at the next 5-second interval, it gets checked. If it happens to pass this check, then Foxy is flagged as got you, and will jump scare you the next time you flash the hallway, or on the next 10-second interval when a blackout isn't happening. So as long as we're able to flash Foxy before this 5-second interval, we should be okay. The problem was that we didn't really have a way to optimize our flash times, unless there was some way to flash the hallway right before that 5-second interval. And this was where it all came together, and that small detail about Golden Freddy's spawns made all the difference. You might have forgotten what Golden Freddy even does in 1020 mode, as oftentimes other characters are the main focus here. He's pretty simple. Once he spawns, put the mask on and he goes away. Flash the flashlight and you die. This is why whenever you see people playing 1020 mode, they always slam the mask on right away after dropping the cameras, as they need to in case Golden Freddy is there before flashing Foxy in the hallway. But if we knew for absolute certainty that Golden Freddy wasn't going to be there, we could flash right away when dropping the cameras. And this is how the Brayden strat works. By pulling up the cameras right after a 5-second interval and winding until the very end of that interval, dropping the cameras roughly half a second early, you can hold the control key in order to flash through the blackout. This completely owns Foxy right before the 5-second interval, which doesn't give him a chance to check his equation, keeping you completely safe, and the music box wound for a full extra second. But the Brayden strat doesn't just completely destroy one of 1020's most challenging animatronics, it gets both of them. By keeping the mask on until the next 5-second interval once you drop the cameras, Mangle, Toy Chica, and Balloon Boy will never appear in the vent, meaning we only have to worry about Toy Bonnie. Now, once the blackout is done, go over and hold the right vent light. If Toy Bonnie isn't already there, this will stall his movement into the vent. Basically, once Toy Bonnie is in the camera right before the vent opening, he has a 500 frame counter that begins counting down. If you happen to have the vent light on when this counter reaches 0, Toy Bonnie is stalled and is unable to move into the vent opening. Because this counter is 500 frames, it will always reach 0 on the intervals of 3.33 or 8.33. So as long as you have the light on over this interval, it will stall him. The reason that this is important is it will now always force Toy Bonnie to enter the vent while a blackout is happening, which gives him a 1 in 3 chance to leave on his own every second. Essentially, all of these strategies combined make FNAF 2 considerably more consistent by dealing with both Foxy and Toy Bonnie, and ensuring that even if you have to deal with a Toy Bonnie attack, if you've played perfectly up to this point, you'll have a full music box to deal with him, and you'll be able to survive some pretty crazy RNG. So, with a little bit of background, we can finally talk about the dumbest death in FNAF 2, Part 2. It must be a Fnaflocke tradition at this point. What? I remember this was a lot of people's favorite part of the first Fnaflocke video, so why not explain how every possible dumb quirk this game has aligned perfectly to screw over my run once again. So, why did this happen? Well, this was a combination of me just not paying attention, but also some insanely bad luck and weird quirks in FNAF 2's code. We just talked about how important Golden Freddy is for this strategy, but that was just one of Golden Freddy's 2 possible positions. Golden Freddy can also appear in the hallway, appearing as just his head. In this state, if Golden Freddy has the flashlight on him for 100 total frames, he'll jump out and jump scare you. Golden Freddy can only appear in the hallway when no one else is there, which is why you usually only see him in this position at the very beginning of the night, as on 1020 mode, it's extremely rare that no one is ever in the hallway at any given point in time. But even still, why does this matter? I'm not flashing the hallway here. Well, actually, I am. Because we're holding the vent to stall Toy Bonnie here, you don't actually see into the hallway when we hold the flashlight, as there aren't any sprites for both the vent light on and the flashlight illuminating whoever's in the hallway, even though functionally you are still flashing the hallway and resetting Foxy's timer, if that makes sense. Basically, you're not flashing visually, but mechanically you are. When doing this strategy, you're only supposed to flash one time right after 2 or 7 seconds on the timer. But, and I really don't know why, I just happened to press flash a few times instead of just once. Again, this wouldn't really matter if it wasn't for another weird quirk with FNAF 2. Whenever you flash the flashlight in FNAF 2, even though letting go of the control key visually turns the flashlight off, the flashlight doesn't functionally turn off until the next 1 second interval. So if I flash the flashlight at 2.1 seconds, the flashlight is still functionally on all the way until 3.0 seconds, even if we can't see it. So that's going to count for a lot of time flashing in the hallway. And wouldn't you know it, out of all of the times for there to be absolutely no one in the hallway, when I can't even see it so I don't know, Golden Freddy spawns here and I die. This all came down to insane RNG, the flashlight's weird mechanics when turning off and functionally turning off, and a lack of sprites to display what's happening. But ultimately, this was a skill issue. If I had just flashed once, it wouldn't have happened. And then I died of Golden Freddy.
What?
Unless, did I like hit the camera button somehow? The only way that's possible is if Golden Freddy was in the hallway and I flashed him, and then hallway was like static, I'm pretty sure. Because oh, you know what? I'm flashing it while the light's on. I don't know who's in the hallway.
Oh, you hold it?
No, I don't hold it. I like tap it every now and then. I probably held it when I was going up.
Yeah, because tapping, remember the flashlight turns off at 1 second intervals, so it runs it up even when it's not on. Technically, all when you're not holding it. That's exactly what happened.
So you think Foxy wasn't there? What the f is the chance of that?
No one was in the hall, and you couldn't see that you were tapping it, so it was. Oh my goodness, that sucks.
That's much. Insane. Wow, bro. So, if you are doing the Brayden strat, do not, and I repeat, do not flash more than once. Flash at 2 or 7, and that's it. Aside from how stupid this death was, it did prove one thing. Putting FNAF 3 first in the order was definitely a good choice. Within 20 minutes of playtime after this order change, we'd already made leaps and bounds to basically 5 AM on game 5 of 7. And it proved that RNG was truly what was holding us back here. I didn't even get a chance to mention Sister Location's 1020 mode because we both just first tried it. The way that things were looking, if we could at least get one run past the RNG games per day, we should be able to close this out in around 2 to 3 days. It was getting late, so we decided to stop for the day. Even though I died, Brayden did go on to finish out his run, with his official first Fnaflocke plus UCN win.
Morning, Bones.
Dude, shut the f up.
Hey, just FNAF 1 left here. Fnaflocke win,
Just
buddy.
3 left. There's my Fnaflocke.
My fault.
Yes,
No, it's good.
he's going to get his own personal
I would
win.
not hear. Oh my god.
Well, you done FGP. Actually, no, you didn't. You didn't use FGP. Wait, you didn't use FGP, did you?
Wait, really?
Did you? I forget. Did you use
Wait,
FGP?
you're right. Oh my god, wait. Oh, I'm muting. Dude, I can't lie. My nerves shot up 10 times when you said I didn't know if you.
Oh, yeah, because it was like an
I
actual...
have never locked in more for a FNAF 1 win than right there.
With an honestly very solid personal best on day 1, it was time to move on to day 2. Coming off of day 1, we were both pretty excited to continue this challenge. Since we were both getting so consistent with UCN, and warming back up to 6 after not playing it for a while, we figured that this wouldn't take that much longer. The hope was just that what happened on day 1 wasn't a fluke, and we could at least escape the wall of RNG once per day minimum. And it wasn't looking like that was gonna happen.
Oh my god, he's in my window. He ran past at 50.
Are we dead ass?
Maybe we just had a lot of motivation on day 1, but day 2 started to really show how bad the RNG was, specifically for FNAF 3.
Oh my god, bruh. That's a crazy screenshot. The failing audio alert, Phantom Freddy, and him in the window.
The general strategy was just to play the night normally until Springtrap gets in, then just use FGP's strategy to hopefully survive for the rest of the night. But even still, that didn't seem to be working. We were so brain rotted from just getting clapped in FNAF 3 over and over again that we just started talking about Clash of Clans for almost the entire session.
Hello.
I'm officially Builder Hall 10.
Yes! I'm so proud, buddy.
Hi.
Dude, he's been at my window like 6 times.
Wait, you can fucking react with emojis in clan chat?
So funny.
It was mind-numbing, but honestly, I was still having fun. In all of my other previous endurance-based challenges, I was just by myself for most, if not all of them. I had tried to kill time a few times by VCing with friends whenever I was grinding whatever I was doing, but oftentimes, FNAF games are too sound cue based for that to really work. But here, I at least had someone to share my pain and highlight all of the funny moments that we had throughout all of the games. Even on the runs that did get past FNAF 3, there were some dumb UCN moments.
Question for Aiden.
Yeah.
Why you didn't go on a date with me?
I like the collective silence that we agreed on.
And on the run that had the most hope, making it to FNAF 6, I ended up getting pincered. I'd like to say more about day 2 since the day 1 section was so long, but there really wasn't much else to say here. We were hoping that day 3 would be a lot better than how mind-numbing day 2 was, but it was looking to be much of the same, aside from a small consistency improvement in UCN. You see, both fails in UCN on day 2 were surprisingly Brayden deaths, not me. In case you didn't already know, Brayden is far and away the best vanilla UCN player in the world, holding the Green Run World Records for all 3 categories and being the verifier of 50/70 mode. And I guess he didn't take too kindly to some losses in UCN, because Brayden would go on a training arc and up his consistency so much that there wasn't even a chance of loss anymore. When I got on to play for today, Brayden was already in the VC doing UCN practice, with 3 wins in a row already, and he was going to play until he lost. So I sat there and waited to see how many wins in a row this man was about to get.
It's over.
Yeah, how long is that, bro?
It's done. I don't have to
Dude.
play anymore.
That's right, we sat there for 2 hours and 52 minutes watching Brayden beat 50-20 37 times in a row. Though there was some entertainment throughout the run.
You're gonna go to Arizona.
Yes, bro. I'm just
In
switch
approximately
states.
1 month, it's gonna be like 100 degrees there. Have fun.
Too bad. It's cool.
That is true. You don't live with AC, so you're accustomed to it.
Dude,
What?
I'm pampered now. The last few days I've had AC. I was on 11 months no AC, bro. Those who know.
Dude, how? I would die.
You just do. You just suffer every night. I was sleeping with I had like 3 pounds of frozen corn on me every night, bro. It was so peak. I was like, because I've gone on the phone, I've screamed at my property managers, I called the one a fat bitch because she wouldn't fix my shit, and she stopped talking to me. I was getting so heated. I was screaming at the bitch. I was like, it's 95 degrees in my apartment every night. I'm sleeping with frozen corn all over me. I was tweaking on her, bro. I was tweaking on her. And the pest control don't come. They aren't coming. So I was like, because I was screaming at her, I was like, who's your manager? Who's your manager? She was like, I was like, no, bitch, you're gonna tell me who your manager is. I'm not playing this. I wish I recorded it, bro. I was straight up screaming at her over the phone for like 30 minutes. She was telling me all this, oh, I don't have a manager, blah, blah, blah. Bitch, you do not own this property. You are not even the manager of the property management. So don't talk to me crazy like that, because I will come down to the fucking office. I will come down. I know where the office is. They are all bullshit, bro. There's some dog in it. I called her enough names that she just didn't want to deal with me no more, so she sent me over to her manager, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy how I told the manager. I had one conversation with her. I was like, John, what's his name, from City Hall, right? You know how he checks the properties when there's a complaint?
City Hall lore.
Yeah. I was like, should I go talk to John from City Hall? Should we talk about my AC being fixed? Next week, they're out fixing my shit. Next week, bro. I should have threatened her life earlier. And this is like, because I live at like the trap house apartments, bro. Like, there's multiple people selling crack out of like each. There's A, B, and C column.
Wait, so what was the frozen corn method? You would just leave it in the freezer and then just.
Yep, you put it in the freezer, you wait till night. When it's nighttime, you take it out the freezer, you put it straight on your skin. It burns a bit, then it gets past the point of burning, and it's like a nice, cool soothingness. And I had to have a towel under me, because, you know, all the water will start draining off. So I had a towel under me, so it didn't just wet my whole bed. You'd either A, it would be so hot that you have to wake up in the middle of the night, and you're like, why am I sweating? Oh, because it's all... I had 3 more pounds on standby, bro, in the freezer, right? Because I wake up in the middle of the night, I feel like shit, it ain't even cold anymore. So I go over to the freezer, I grab 3 more pounds, put it on me, and then I get back to sleep. Crazy work. You don't even get it, bro.
You're right, I don't.
Try, bro. Get it. There's still a hole in my closet. 100% sure, bro. I just like went into my closet and I could just like see outside. It's just so big. It's so big.
Anyway, no matter the case, this man was not gonna die on UCN anytime soon. Surely. So as long as I could keep up in UCN, we should be able to get another run back to the skill-based portion of the challenge. Aside from that one mistake, UCN was starting to look easier and easier, and FNAF 3 and 6 were only getting worse.
The ultimate truth nuke is that aggressive nightmare is harder than 50-20, and people need to stop lying. It is true. Like, no FGP, it's harder than 50-20, and people need to wake up. Like,
we were so tired of FNAF 3, in fact, that we decided to issue a challenge to all of you.
When will somebody find a better strat for it? Please, anyone.
that's you, bro.
Put this in the Bones video. I will pay you $100 if you can find a consistent FNAF 3 strat. Thank you.
That is true, yeah. I'll put up 100 as well. So $200.
Alright, there is a $200 bounty
Yeah.
on a not cheese strat. An actual strat that is
So-
more consistent.
No cheese, and it's gotta be tassable to what, 80%?
Hey, sure.
Alright.
That's right, Click Team Nerds, if you can find a strategy in FNAF 3 that is tassable to at least a 70 to 80% win rate, that isn't just frame perfect FGP flips, that's cheating, has to be like humanly possible, we will give you the bounty money of $200. If anything, this just shows how miserable we were at this point after playing so much FNAF 3. And anytime we did get some insane luck to finally get past FNAF 3, UCN wasn't really a problem, but FNAF 6 always was.
It feels like home.
Oh my god, that was so much glaze, bro. That was
What?
insane. That was so ass. Dude, you need to watch this
Floor.
recording and actually see how insanely bad that was, bro. Oh my god.
That's right, for all that Ultimate Custom Night is cracked up to be, for us, Saturday and Nightmare Aggressive Only were still worse. I never thought I'd be saying this, but the most optimal order was now 3, 6, UCN, then the skill-based games. With our new order, we went into day 4 hoping to see some success, and we actually did. For the first time in 3 hours of playtime across 2 days, we finally had another run that made it out of the RNG section. Part of this was due to a small strategy improvement with FNAF 6. Earlier, I mentioned how the advertising tasks were often a problem for us, as they took up way too much time, and were far too loud to hear some of the sound cues animatronics would make in the vents. Because advertising tasks were the worst tasks, we decided that it would be better to get them out of the way first. Oftentimes, if we got past those, we would go on to finish the night. But I started to realize that this strategy could actually be improved upon quite a bit. Sure, if you're just playing FNAF 6 by itself and you can restart at will, then yeah, it's probably best to get advertising tasks out of the way first. But we had FNAF 6 placed after the RNG wall of FNAF 3. The reason that we always thought rushing an advertising task was a good move is that at the very start of the night, all the animatronics are guaranteed to spawn in these top middle squares of the map, as far away from our office as possible. In theory, this would give us the most time to get our tasks done. So why wait on the advertising tasks? Well, when I was thinking about why we always died in FNAF 6, it wasn't because we missed any sound cues or anything. We'd warmed back up to the game enough at this point that really didn't happen anymore. The reason that Brayden and I would always die was due to getting pincered, as this was the only unwinnable situation that you could get.
So you get hyperclap immediately?
Yeah. Both on both sides, just like full setting.
So this new strategy worked to prevent that as much as possible. I noticed that sometimes during the later portions of the night, animatronics would sometimes group up and all go to one side. This is great for us, as it allows us to just spam tasks and camp the one side. As remember, animatronics can't advance at all in the vent when we're pointing our flashlight at them. And because they get sent back to the same side when we clear them, and that the movements in the FNAF 6 map are all skewed towards us and not over the top to the other side, they're very likely to stay in this loop. Instead of starting with advertising tasks, start with supply tasks, the shortest of the 3, at 6.67 seconds per task. They're also completely silent, allowing us to hear a lot better. We want to have the shortest possible tasks here because we're going to have to deal with teleports. Just like Springtrap in FNAF 3, FNAF 6 animatronics can also teleport. After a certain number of time has passed in the night, every animatronic except Lefty will gain the ability to teleport once per night if they set foot in this square. Each animatronic will always teleport to the same square when they do this. Afton and Scrap Baby to this square on the right, and Molten Freddy on the left. With how fast the animatronics are moving on Saturday, it's pretty common for all of the animatronics to use their teleports within the first minute of the night or so. And because Molten Freddy is split with Scrap Baby and Afton, this is a prime opportunity to get pincered and lose the night. By doing supply tasks first, we were a lot more ready and prepared for these kind of situations, and were able to capitalize more on the later half of the night if the animatronics decided to group up on one side. This led to us finally getting a run past the RNG section. The problem now was that nerves were so much worse. Back on day 1, we didn't really know what to expect. Maybe we had just gotten so good since the original Fnaflocke that we were just gonna beat it on day 1, and honestly, if I had known about all the FNAF 2 shenanigans, we very well could have. But now, either we just had really bad luck the past few days, or that run on day 1 truly was a fluke, which means this was the only shot we were gonna get in, honestly, who knows how long. See, it's one thing to get nervous on an endurance-based challenge. I've been there so many times myself, but it's an entirely different feeling when you have a partner who's also dependent on your success. Sure, when you lose on your own challenge, it sucks, but you're the one taking all the pain for your mistake. If you lose here, your friend has to sit with you for however many more hours against bullshit RNG in FNAF 3 and 6 until you finally have another chance. And I could tell that Brayden was feeling this way too, especially being the vanilla UCN god. I could see real frustration in him when he would die in that game specifically.
51 XR, dude. My heater and everything, I died horrible. Like, whatever.
The pressure here was definitely a lot higher, and for me personally, I really wanted to prove myself here. Brayden was the person who introduced and taught me everything about max modes when I was first learning the vanilla FNAF games. And I haven't said this yet, but thank you so much to Brayden for sitting with me through all of this. I'll say it now, if Brayden gets to 10,000 subscribers within a week of this video being posted, I will stream Hopeless Pursuit release version no power generator. We've done some crazy things as a community, and I know you guys can make this happen, so please do it for me. When I first joined the community in early 2024, he was this godlike figure that seemed untouchable, and now, when I have finally gotten to his level, I really didn't want to let one of my best friends and the guy who helped me make nearly every vanilla FNAF video that I've ever made down. But it was that pressure that ended up being my downfall. I don't know why this happens, and honestly, if anyone in the comments would like to give me suggestions, please let me know, but I have this issue in Sister Location where the in-game custom cursor will randomly teleport around the screen when I'm trying to flick or move it. I've tried changing the polling rate of my mouse, switching to a wired mouse, the refresh rate of my monitor, running the game both in and out of Click Team, and asking some of the smartest FNAF engineers that I know, and for some reason, I just could never fix this teleporting cursor issue. So I decided to just play with it. As long as I took my time and moved slowly, I was able to control it enough such that it didn't get me killed. And it wasn't that bad for Sister Location, as the 10-20 strategy doesn't really involve that much mouse movement. For all of the lethal characters except one of them, they're all dealt with using the keyboard. The only 3 characters that are mouse-based are Electrobab, the mini-Renas in the cameras, and Bonnet. But with all of the nerves that I had from finally getting a run past the RNG gauntlet and not wanting to disappoint Brayden, Bonnet ended up getting past my cursor, and I died. That run was already at the end of around an hour-long session, so we decided to just call it for the night. If day 4 was a tragic fail after finally getting past all of the RNG, day 5 was complete rock bottom. Whether it was FNAF 3, 6, or UCN, we were completely locked in the RNG games, and this time we couldn't even get to the 3rd one. In 1 hour and 20 minutes of playtime, we didn't have a single run past game 2. Sometimes it was because we were so bored that we just lost due to trying to make things just the tiniest bit more interesting. Did you troll a little too hard, buddy? Aww. or just classic RNG. Either way, this was honestly just soul crushing for us. There may have been a glimmer of hope on day 4, but now it just seemed like any time that we were going to get past the RNG games, it was just going to be days upon days until we finally got back. There really isn't much to say about this day, as nothing really eventful happened, but maybe, just maybe, if we reached true rock bottom, the next day would be our peak. In the original Fnaflocke, day 6 was the day where I finally pulled it together and won. If there was any day for it to happen, it was right here and right now. We just needed one run past the RNG games, and then we could finally take another crack at the skill games. We made one last minute change today, switching the order of FNAF 4 and FNAF 2. Even though I had some crazy RNG bad luck on FNAF 2 earlier, that was still because I didn't know exactly how Golden Freddy worked in the hallway, and I just couldn't see him. The only reason that we chose to switch these two is because of the last 2 hours of FNAF 4 with Nightmare. See, the first 4 hours of 420 mode are actually really easy on FNAF 4. In FNAF 2, for example, to keep a bit of RNG at play on 1020 mode, the game uses AI caps to cap the AI of the animatronics so they can still fail movements. This is why sometimes you won't get a blackout on the office after dropping the cameras even though it's 1020 mode. For Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy in FNAF 4, these AI caps don't exist, and they have a 100% chance to move on every 5-second interval. This means that the first 4 hours of the night are essentially scripted. Because of FNAF 4's room layout, if we go up to the door at any point between 0 seconds and 5 seconds on our timer, Bonnie and Chica are guaranteed to never be there 100% of the time. The only RNG in this part of the night is, of course, Foxy, as you all probably remember from the original Fnaflocke video. Oh man, back when challenges taking multiple days or 20 hours was considered stressful and hard. It's pretty crazy how times change. Anyway, make sure you track Foxy throughout the halls. In my OG Fnaflocke video, I ended up dying because Foxy went to the same hall twice in a row, which is a 1 in 100 chance. What I didn't know at the time was that you can actually survive up to a 1 in 1000 chance with this strategy. And even then, letting Foxy in the closet isn't the end of the world. I just hadn't had enough practice with the original FNAF 4 loop, and I was so nervous that I ended up selling the run. The only reason that Foxy going to the same hall is so bad for us has to do with how Bonnie and Chica's room jump scares work. If they're waiting at a door for a collective 12 seconds on night 8, they'll jump scare you when you turn your back from the bed after flashing Freddy. Because Bonnie and Chica are always guaranteed to move on 5-second intervals, by the 3rd cycle, whichever one you haven't flashed in the hallway yet will be ready to jump scare you. However, if you don't turn to the bed and instead just wait, you can go to the opposite hallway and be okay. Freddy is pretty slow in 420 mode, so this shouldn't be that bad. And from the Worst Luck series, I had a lot of experience with the normal strategy even if Foxy were to get in. The scary part of this night was Nightmare. Now, everyone knows why Nightmare is so annoying for these kinds of challenges. Whenever he laughs, he'll teleport to your bed or closet, but he also has fake laughs, and discerning between the two is what can make or break your run. Without getting too technical here, we do have a way to tell if laughs are fake or not. Basically, Nightmare's real laughs are tied to 2 timers that randomly count up. Once one reaches 20, he has a 1 in 2 chance to laugh and teleport to that location. Fake laughs are a lot simpler. He just has a 1 in 10 chance to do one on every 10-second interval. This means that if Nightmare laughs on any interval that isn't 10 seconds, it was real and you should go look in the bed or closet. If Nightmare goes to the closet, nothing changes and the strategy will be the same. But if he goes to the bed, you'll have to account for something sneaky in FNAF 4's code. Once Nightmare is on the bed, his fake laugh timer pauses, meaning that for however many seconds he's on the bed, his new fake laugh interval will be offset by that amount. You have 2 ways to approach this situation. You can either manually track his new interval by using mental math, or stall him out to set him back on 10-second intervals. Regardless of what you do, this strategy makes Nightmare fairly consistent. There's just one case where our strategy doesn't have us completely covered. If one of Nightmare's real laugh timers happens to reach 20 on a 10-second interval, Nightmare can do a real laugh and we expect a fake laugh. And in a really unlucky situation, this could lead to a death. The chance of this happening is super rare, but just because it is possible, we decided to put FNAF 4 before 2. We also just found FNAF 4 to be more nerve-wracking than FNAF 2 in general, so it was definitely a good move. With that last change in order, we sat down on day 6, and after 13 hours of attempts, spread across 6 days, with all kinds of insane moments throughout, we started up one more run of FNAF 3.
3, 2, 1. Jesus Christ, please, bro.
Please deposit 5 coins. Depositing 5.
I have 2 Foxy parts in and he's still not getting enough.
Please deposit 5. Thank you for depositing.
Why am I being hauled? Oh my god, I need to go on Do Not Disturb, bro. I got called at 4 a.m.
Like Discord called or like
Yes, bro. I couldn't hear anything.
who, bro?
I don't know, some group chat.
3, 2, 1.
Oh. No dumb FNAF 2 deaths.
You ready?
I'm ready. Yep.
3, 2, 1. You ready?
Ready.
3, 2, 1. Oh god.
There it is.
Yes! Fnaflocke Deathlink!
Let's go, man.
Oh!
Oh,
That was... Dude.
that's crazy.
That was the longest game of FNAF 1 I've ever played. That took...
I know.
That felt like months, bro. Oh my god. How are we feeling?
I'm actually not even that. All my nerves went away
Yeah.
at like 4 than FNAF 2. I don't know why.
Same. My nerves went away at like 2 a.m. in FNAF 2.
Like sister location, I was like normal heartbeat. As soon as we beat sister location, it spiked way up, and then
Yes, dude.
I was like racing until the end of 4 a.m. at 4 a.m. in FNAF 2, and then it just went back down.
I was super nervous at FNAF 4 that I was gonna f up the scripted strat somehow, and then Nightmare. Yeah, dude.
I had so many moments where I was like just spaced out, and I almost messed up because I was just like, ugh.
Yeah, dude. I was zoned out for most of FNAF 1 because I had 0 nerves in FNAF 1.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. This one was truly a blast to make and a pretty fun challenge, all things considered. This took us a total of 13 hours combined across all 6 days, so not nearly as bad as the first Fnaflocke, but still a bit mentally taxing at times. Again, huge thanks to Brayden for sticking with me through this one. Again, make sure to show him some support. Remember that we're streaming every Friday. Thank you all again for the continued support. More videos to come soon. Peace.